Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video review, and this time we have the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Spider-Man PS4 Advanced Suit figure, GamerVerse figure. So I'm very excited to bring this one. Entertainment Earth has it in stock. I received mine today, so I'm going to review it for you guys. I'll include a link in the description below so you can actually put in an order if it's something that you guys want to get. This figure is looking really good. Lots of sculpted detail on it, better than we got with like the Marvel Legends version. I will show a comparison with the Marvel Legends and the SH Figure Arts version. We got a lot of cool accessories in here. We got a spider drone, cell phone, additional hands, wall crawling hands, whipping hands, holding hands, fists. So lots of great things with this figure that we just did not get with the Legends figure. And of course Marvel Selects are a little bit more pricey, but around the same price. So a lot more packed in with this figure than with the Legends. We also get this web accessory, which is really cool. The only thing that's going to throw it off is the scale, but this figure looks really awesome. Let's get right to it. Spider-Man logo there on the side, Marvel Select. We actually get the GamerVerse tag right there up at the top corner. That's not a Legends thing, that is a Marvel thing. So Funko Pop gets that GamerVerse tag, as well as some other things. So pretty cool Spider logo there. Typical Marvel Select packaging, massive, huge. Here on the back of the package we get a look at the figure, and then we get a brief bio. Not going to read the whole thing, but I'll zoom in so you guys can take a look at it. Okay, so that bio is pretty lengthy, so if you guys do want to read it, you can go ahead and pause it now and you can see the whole thing. What I will call out is that it was designed by Eamon O'Donoghue and sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. So there it is. Pause it if you like. Let's move right on and let's get this figure out of the package. Okay, and here is the Spider-Man Advanced Suit figure out of the package. And you know what? This figure is awesome. Lots of really cool things. I'm really excited to show you guys all the cool things. First, let's take a look at the accessories. So we have this spider accessory here, which is pretty cool. So this is kind of made to look like if you're getting kind of over, you know, a bad guy or a henchman or something, you can kind of like put this on here, and you can kind of like, you know, Spider-Man shot his webs and captured somebody, so you could do something like that. So it kind of has that cut in, so you can kind of get somebody going over. Now it has these little spike things right here, these pegs. I'm not sure exactly how that's supposed to work with somebody, but it doesn't really go over shoulder. So maybe it just depends on the type of figure that you have. I have a few of them out, you know, and you could do something and it kind of holds it in place like there. So it just depends on the size of the figure that you have, and it'll hold in place. So that's pretty cool how that works. So I like that accessory. It is actually really cool, and neat to see something new like that we haven't really seen before. We have this tiny cell phone right here. It's just got a couple of things going on the screen, but not bad. Pretty cool that we actually get something like that. I'm scared I'm gonna lose it. We have this really cool spider drone here. It's done in a nice metallic red, and that looks really good. It's sculpted, and it basically sits down. It doesn't really sit on these legs the way it's actually sculpted. It just sits down on the bottom of the floor here. The legs are pretty pliable, so it's a very soft rubber material, but it does come out looking very good. We have all the additional hands. Now one thing about these, they're very gummy, so you can move these fingers around and everything, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because I'm scared about these pegs, what's going to happen trying to pull those out and putting these hands back on and changing out the hands, because man, they are very gummy, all of them. So we'll see. So thwip hands, and then you got the holding hands, so you could put like the web or something in there, or you could put his cell phone, which is actually a little bit tricky because you're gonna have to do something like that. Well, I guess because it's, you know, very pliable, you could just easily, you know, put the phone right in a hand like that. So that's how it works. But anyway, let's get in up close so you can see all the details of the figure. Then we'll get into the articulation. Then we'll do some comparisons. Okay, here is the Spider-Man figure up close, and you can see all the great details. There is a lot of detail sculpted into it. So like the web lines and everything, that's actually sculpted in. That's not just paint that's on there. But it's sculpted, and then the paint's on there. The white spider logo is sculpted on there over the figure. So, and the paint apps are actually quite nice and pretty clean. Not really any issues. It got a little blue scuff in the red there. Not a big deal. One thing that I do notice, it's a little odd, and I don't know if it's just kind of how that color comes out looking. It might be a little hard to see on camera, but the outline right there around his shoulder is actually a brown color, and then it goes over the shoulder here. And I just think that's kind of how the paint might come together. It looks a little odd because he even has the brown outline there, and then brown outline here. That's not something I remember from the game, so it's a little interesting how that looks. Some of the texture is sculpted into the suit that we see from the video game. Notice that all the skins, all the different suits that he wears are kind of give it a realistic look, with a lot of stitching and texture that's going on, and the figure actually has all of that going for it, which is really cool. Just looks really good. paint apps are actually really solid. The eyes, you can see it has the lenses, the telephoto lenses. Overall, it just looks really good. And then I saw somebody ask about the feet and if they sculpted the detail of the bottom of the feet, and yes, they did. So just like from the video game, he has those on the bottom of the feet. So you can see a lot of great detail on there. You can see the hands, those white portions are sculpted little pads for his knuckles, and they are painted, and they're painted quite nice. I don't have any issues with mine. You might want to, you know, of course, if you get the chance, kind of look over some of them to see how that might look, because I could see, you know, there could be some red bleeding through some of that white on some figures. So you just have to kind of take a look, but overall looks great. Now let's zoom out and look at his articulation. Okay, so the articulation on this figure is actually really good. A lot of times some of the Marvel Selects can be that can leave a little bit left to be desired when it comes to the articulation. You know, they're kind of limited. You know, the Iron Man has some limitations on the arms and the legs and things. It looks great, looks fantastic, but some of the articulation is a little lacking. Now, I know that there's some reports that, you know, Marvel Select can't because Hasbro has the Master Toy license and the scale and the price point. So Diamond Select, Marvel Select are limited in what they could do. I don't know how true that is. It would not surprise me. It kind of makes sense, so we'll kind of see. But this guy is actually loaded with articulation. So first, the only thing lacking is probably in his head. So you're not actually going to get a whole lot of motion. So looking down, that's pretty much it, which it looks like he didn't really look down. Looking up, yeah, you're not really going to get anything there. So that's going to be the most hindering articulation is the head. You can move it from side to side, a little bit of pivot going on, neck pivot going on in there. It's just the looking up and looking down is not going to happen. So if you're trying to get a wall crawling pose, that might be a little bit difficult. Shoulders can go up that high, and you can get a full rotation. There is an upper bicep swivel there. You get a double jointed elbow. It's a little stiff, so you want to be careful with that, because I can only get the one and they get two, but that's the amount of bend that you're going to get in the elbow. You got a wrist, it swivels, and they do hinge. And here we don't have an ab crunch, we have a diaphragm joint, so you can get it. You gotta have to work it around a little bit so you can get them to turn to the sides. You get a little pivot going that way, going the other way, going back. You get only a little bit. Going forward, you get a little bit. And then here, there's not a waist swivel. It's another rocker joint. So you can get the tilt to go that much. You can get the tilt going that way and add a little bit more tilt. Going back, you can actually get it. So that's how you can kind of get that back motion. And then crunching forward, you're only going to get that, which is a little limited when you think of a Spider-Man figure, but for a Marvel Select, it's actually pretty good from what I see on the few Marvel Select figures that I have. And then you can get some twist going on in there since there is no waist swivel, but you do want to be careful with it that way. You can do the splits that much, which is crazy amount. He can kick forward very high. It can go back a little bit. There is an upper thigh cut there. You get a solid double jointed knee, which works out really well. No boot swivel or calf swivel or anything. Foot hinges all the way down. Hinges up a little bit. And then you do get a very nice ankle pivot, and there is peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So there is his articulation. For a Marvel Select figure, I am impressed. For a Spider-Man figure, it's just okay. Now, let's see some comparisons. Okay, so here are all the Spider-Man PS4 Advanced Suit figures that have been released. We have the Marvel Legends one, that was a GameStop exclusive. We have the SH Figuarts, which I think was exclusive to Japan. I don't think it got a US release at all. And then we have the 3 3/4 inch one by Marvel Legends. And then here we have the Marvel Select. And you can see this one absolutely shits on the rest. This Select is such a good figure compared to the Legends. And I really, really like that Legends, mainly because of the body they use. I think it's one of their best molds that they have to offer. But it was extremely lazy on Hasbro's part. You know, we see the repaints and all those things. That's completely normal when it comes to Hasbro. But them putting in a big deal and more emphasis on GamerVerse now, I wish they would go back and revisit this figure and give us something that is actually better, because this isn't it. Still a good Spider-Man figure, but looking at what some of the other companies are doing, it's not nearly as good. So this Marvel Select figure is just so great. I love the brighter blue compared to the darker blue, and as you can see, it's the brightest blue of all of them. Even the Figuarts one was pretty dark, and that's a good figure. It's just, you know, with the SH Figuarts, when it comes to their articulation, the focus on it, the figure ends up looking a little weird because of all the cuts and things like that. So yes, the Diamond Select or Marvel Select doesn't have the same articulation as that guy, but he has very good articulation, and it looks just absolutely outstanding. So seeing them all side by side, you could just see there's just no comparison. Marvel Select wins it by far. Yes, it's out of scale, but it just looks so damn good. Okay, and here he is next to the most recent Marvel Select Spider-Man figure that was released, the Spider-Man Far From Home upgraded suit, next to the advanced suit, and they actually have the same articulation points, with the torso, so the upper ab rocker and then the lower waist rocker. So you can see same articulation, so huge improvements with Marvel Select. And here he is next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee figure, and again, out of scale because it's 7-inch scale versus a 6-inch scale. Okay, and before I head out, one thing that concerned me before was kind of the gumminess of these hands and switching out some of these hands. And you know what? They all go in pretty easily. They don't come out too easily, so I don't think it's going to be any kind of concern of how those hands kind of peg in. I think they'll hold up just fine. And then a final look at the figure with the accessory actually in action. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this figure. Is it something that you're going to be picking up? Are you excited for it? Again, if you're interested in ordering, I have a link down in the video description below for Entertainment Earth, who does have it in stock. If you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit the notification bell, which is somewhere down over here. And as always, thank you guys for watching.